The fog clung to the Golden Gate Bridge like a lover who refused to let go. And Briar stepped off the bus into the chill of San Francisco's evening, her heart pounding as if it had been buried for 3 years, and was only now remembering how to beat. She had seen the invitation in a crumpled newspaper back in that dusty Oregon motel, Elena's name etched in elegant script beside the words in memoriam, Briar Voss. Beloved wife. Lost too soon. Tonight. At the grand gala in the Presidio. Society would toast her ghost. But Briar was done haunting the edges of her own life. With a deep breath that tasted of salt and regret, she slipped the same gold wedding ring onto her finger, its weight a promise and a curse, and walked toward the woman who had mourned her without knowing the truth. Briar's heels clicked against the polished marble of the venue's entrance, each step echoing like a confession she wasn't ready to make. The air inside hummed with the low murmur of San Francisco's elite, tech moguls in bespoke suits, philanthropists with diamonds winking like distant stars, and the kind of old money that whispered rather than shouted. Crystal chandeliers dripped light over tables laden with orchids and caviar. But Briar saw none of it. Her eyes scanned the crowd, locking onto Elena almost immediately, as if the universe had conspired to pull them together one last time. Elena stood at the center of it all, a vision in emerald silk that hugged her curves like a secret. 35. She was more poised than Briar remembered. Her auburn hair swept into a chignon that exposed the elegant line of her neck, where a single pearl necklace rested like a tear frozen in time. She laughed at something a silver-haired donor said. But it didn't reach her eyes. Those stormy blue depths that had once drowned Briar in passion now carried the dull sheen of survival. Briar's chest tightened. She had vanished to protect Elena from the storm brewing in their marriage, from the shadows of her family's bigotry that had clawed at their happiness. But 3 years of silence had carved canyons between them. And now? Standing here, Briar wondered if love could bridge such vast emptiness. She moved through the room like a specter, the black blazer she wore over her simple white blouse a shield against the curious glances. Whispers followed her. Hadn't she heard? The Voss wedding ring caught the light, a beacon drawing eyes like moths to flame. Briar ignored them, her focus narrowing to Elena's profile. Memories flooded her. Their first kiss in the rain-slicked streets of the Castro. Elena's fingers tracing the curve of her jaw as if memorizing every freckle. The quiet nights in their No Valley brownstone, tangled in sheets that smelled of lavender and home. But then came the fracture. Briar's father, the steel-hearted senator from Sacramento, discovering their marriage certificate hidden in a drawer. His voice like gravel over the phone. You're dead to me, girl. And if you love her, you'll make sure she believes it too. Briar had fled that night, leaving only a note. I'm sorry. This is for us. She hitchhiked north, landing in a remote cabin in the Oregon Cascades, where the pines whispered secrets and the isolation forced her to confront the lies she'd told herself. Therapy in a tiny town clinic. Odd jobs at a bookstore that smelled of aged paper and regret. It had been a slow unraveling, stitching herself back with threads of self-forgiveness. But Elena's face in the society pages, hollowed by loss, had pulled her south again. She couldn't let the woman she loved bury her alive. Now, inches away, Briar cleared her throat, the sound swallowed by the jazz quartet's mournful saxophone. Elena turned, her glass of champagne halting mid-air. The world tilted. Elena's lips parted, color draining from her cheeks as recognition dawned, sharp as shattered glass. Briar. The name escaped like a prayer long abandoned, her hand trembling as it reached out, then fell. The room seemed to hold its breath, the gala's glamour fracturing around them. Briar swallowed the lump in her throat, her voice steady despite the quake inside. I never meant to leave you like that, Elena. But I had to die to save us. Elena's eyes, those ocean blues Briar had drowned in 1,000 times, filled with a storm of fury and longing. She set her glass down with deliberate care, as if afraid it might explode. Save us? You vanished, Briar. I buried an empty casket. I mourned you in every sunrise, every empty side of the bed. Her words sliced deep. But Briar held her ground, the ring on her finger burning like a brand. The crowd began to notice, murmurs rippling outward like waves from a stone dropped in still water. A photographer snapped a photo, the flash blinding. But Briar didn't flinch. She stepped closer. The scent of Elena's perfume, jasmine and vanilla, wrapping around her like a ghost's embrace. Your father, Briar whispered. The old wound reopening. He threatened everything. The threats. The letters. I couldn't let him destroy you. Elena's face crumpled, a mix of betrayal and relief washing over her. She grabbed Briar's wrist, nails digging in just enough to ground them both. My father? He died last year. Briar. Heart attack. And you? You left me to grieve alone. They slipped away from the throng, Elena leading her to a shadowed alcove off the main hall, where velvet curtains muffled the world. The Presidio's fog pressed against the windows like an uninvited guest. And in that dim light, Elena's composure cracked. Tears traced silent paths down her cheeks, smudging the careful makeup. Why now? After all this time, Briar reached up, brushing a thumb across Elena's jaw. The touch electric, familiar. Because I saw the announcement. And I realized dying without you wasn't living. I came back to fight for us if you'll let me. Elena's laugh was bitter, laced with the ache of years unspoken. Fight? You think it's that simple? I rebuilt my life. Briar. The gallery. The friends who held me when I shattered. But every night, I still reach for you. She pressed her palm over Briar's heart, feeling its frantic rhythm. Briar covered it with her own, their wedding rings clinking softly, a sound like fate knocking. In that moment, the gala faded, and it was just them, two women suspended between loss and possibility. But the past wasn't done with them. As they stood there, breaths mingling, a voice cut through the curtains. Elena's mother, Victoria Langford, her silver hair impeccable, eyes narrowing like a hawk spotting prey. Elena, darling, who is this? Victoria's gaze flicked to the ring, recognition dawning with venom. Briar tensed. Victoria had been the one to spread the whispers after Briar vanished, fueling the narrative of scandal and shame. Mother, Elena said, her voice steel now. This is Briar. My wife. The one you helped bury. Victoria's smile was a blade. Impossible. Briar Voss is dead. Declared as such in every society page from here to Napa. Briar met her stare. Chin lifted. Not anymore. The confrontation hung heavy, a spark to the powder keg of old secrets. Elena squeezed Briar's hand. Silent vow. But doubt flickered in her eyes. Could they really resurrect what had been so brutally interred? As the night wore on, they navigated the gala like minefields, Elena introducing Briar with a defiant grace that turned heads and silenced tongues. Whispers evolved into questions. then outright stares. But Elena's arm around Briar's waist was a declaration. They danced once, slow and tentative, bodies remembering what minds had tried to forget. Briar's curls brushed Elena's cheek, and in her ear, she murmured, "I wrote letters. Hundreds. Burned them all in that cabin fire." Elena pulled back, searching her face. "What did they say?" Briar smiled faintly. "That I loved you more than breath. That I'd come back when it was safe." By midnight, the exhaustion settled in, a bone-deep weariness from the emotional deluge. Elena drove them to her new apartment in the Mission District, the city lights blurring past like memories in fast forward. The place was a far cry from their old brownstone sleek lines, abstract art on walls painted in deep teal, a balcony overlooking murals of vibrant defiance. "It's not home," Elena said softly as she poured wine. "But it's mine." Briar traced the rim of her glass, the ring catching the lamplight. "It could be ours again." They talked until dawn crept in, words tumbling like confessions in a confessional. Briar spoke of the wilderness years, the panic attacks under starlit skies, the job at the bookstore where she shelved queer histories and felt less alone. Elena shared her grief's sharp edges, therapy sessions where she screamed into pillows, the one-night stands that tasted like ash, the gallery opening where she'd hung a portrait of Briar, titled Echo. "I kept the ring," Elena admitted, holding up her hand to mirror Briar's. "Wore it until it hurt too much." As the sun rose, painting the room in pinks and golds, they kissed slow at first, testing, then desperate, hands mapping scars time had etched. It was forgiveness in motion, a reclaiming. But as they lay entwined, Briar's phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Welcome back, Briar. But some graves don't stay filled." Her blood ran cold. The past had teeth. The message lingered like smoke after a fire, acrid and insistent. Briar deleted it, but sleep evaded her. Elena's steady breathing a cruel contrast to the churn in her gut. Who knew she was back? Victoria's icy demeanor at the gala suggested alliances forged in the shadows of high society. But this felt personal, laced with malice. By morning, over coffee black as their moods, Briar showed Elena the text. Her wife's face hardened, the artist in her sketching invisible lines of defense. "Block it. We'll handle this together." But Briar's nod was half-hearted. Secrets had a way of festering, and hers were just beginning to surface. They spent the day wandering the Mission, a deliberate reclaiming of the city that had witnessed their love's birth. Street vendors hawked tamales steaming in corn husks. Murals of fierce Chola women and rainbow flags fluttering in the breeze painted the walls with stories of resilience. Elena linked arms with Briar, their steps sinking like old times, but tension simmered beneath. "Tell me everything," Elena urged as they paused at a taqueria, the scent of cilantro and lime cutting through the fog of unease. Briar hesitated, then spilled it. The night her father confronted her, his face purple with rage, veins bulging like rivers about to flood. "He said he'd ruin you. Cut off your funding for the gallery. Spread rumors that would tank your career. Lesbians like you don't belong in polite society," he spat. "I believed him." Elena's fork paused midair, guacamole dripping forgotten. "And you didn't fight? You just ran." The hurt in her voice was a fresh cut, and Briar winced. "I was 28. Elena. Scared shitless. He had the power. The connections. I thought disappearing was the only way to keep you safe. They ate in silence after that, the clink of plates underscoring the rift. But as they walked to Dolores Park, hips bumping, Elena softened. I get it. In theory. But theory doesn't hold you at night when the bed's empty. She stopped, turning Briar to face her under the shade of a cypress. Promise me no more running. Briar's hazel eyes met Elena's blues, a vow forming. I promise. They kissed there, amid picnickers and dogs chasing frisbees, the world a blur of color and noise. Felt like absolution. But the text shadow loomed, a reminder that promises were fragile as fog. Back at the apartment, Briar unpacked her duffel, faded jeans, a journal filled with sketches of Elena's face, a locket with their wedding photo curled inside. Elena watched, her fingers itching for charcoal and paper. Sit, she said suddenly, gesturing to the stool by the window. Briar complied, the light catching her curls like a halo. Elena worked quickly, lines emerging fierce and tender, the curve of Briar's neck, the vulnerability in her parted lips. You've changed, Elena murmured, smudging shadow under her eyes. Stronger. But still you, the girl who danced in the kitchen to Nina Simone at 3 a.m. Briar laughed, a sound rusty from disuse. And you're still the one who burns toast but makes love like it's art. The easel became their confessional, strokes revealing what words couldn't. By evening, the portrait took shape, a woman reborn, ring glinting like a talisman. They made love then, slow and exploratory, rediscovering bodies marked by time. A tattoo Elena got in grief, a scar on Briar's thigh from a hiking mishap in the woods. It was healing in fragments, passion laced with tears. But intrusion came knocking. A delivery arrived, flowers, lilies white as lies, with a card, from one ghost to another. Dinner? B.L. Victoria. Elena crumpled it, but Briar saw the flicker of obligation. She's family, Elena sighed. And she controls half the art world's purse strings here. Briar nodded, steeling herself. Then we face her. Together. Dinner was at Zuni Cafe, a bastion of San Francisco sophistication where oysters glistened on ice, and the bar hummed with dealmakers. Victoria waited in a corner booth, her bob impeccable, a martini sweating condensation. Her eyes appraised Briar like a flawed sculpture. The prodigal returns, she said, voice honey over arsenic. Elena slid in beside Briar, a united front. Mother. Enough games. Briar's here to stay. Victoria's smile didn't waver. Darling. I'm thrilled. Truly. But scandals die hard in our circles. Your father's estate. Complications arose after her death. That whispers of fraud. Briar's stomach twisted. Fraud? Her disappearance had been clean, no bodies, no traces, but Victoria's words implied forgery. A planted narrative to discredit Elena's claim on their shared assets. What are you saying? Briar leaned forward, voice low. Victoria sipped her drink. Only that resurrection costs. My dear. Quiet settlement. Perhaps. Or the society pages might revisit old stories, with photos this time. The threat hung, veiled in civility. But Elena's hand under the table gripped Briar's thigh, grounding her. They left early, the night air sharp as they walked to the car. She's bluffing, Elena insisted. But doubt crept in. At home, over wine, they pored over old documents, marriage license, Briar's fabricated death certificate, courtesy of a sympathetic clerk in Portland. We need a lawyer, Briar said. Practical now. The bookstore clerk's resourcefulness kicking in. Elena nodded, but her eyes held fear. What if this pulls us under? In waves. The next days blurred into consultations with a sharp-tongued attorney named Riley Kane, a butch lesbian with tattoos peeking from her cuffs and an office in the Tenderloin stacked with case files. Your mother-in-law's playing dirty, Riley drawled, flipping through papers. But we've got leverage, witnesses to the threats. Your journal as proof of duress. Briar handed over the leather-bound volume, pages filled with frantic entries from those first months away. Reading them aloud was cathartic, Elena's tears salting the words. Yet intimacy faltered under the strain. One night, as rain lashed the windows, Elena pulled away mid-kiss. I love you, Briar. I do. But trust. It's a muscle atrophied from disuse. Briar nodded, curling into the couch alone, the ring heavy on her finger. She slipped out for a walk, the mission's neon signs blurring through mist, landing at a dive bar where drag queens lip-synced to Patsy Cline. There, nursing a whiskey, she met Jax, a wiry trans man with a poet's soul and ink-stained fingers. You look like someone who faked their own death, he joked, sliding onto the stool. Briar chuckled. The first real one in days. Close enough. Jax became an unlikely ally. His apartment a graffiti-covered haven above a taqueria. Over late-night talks fueled by cheap tequila. Briar unburdened. The fear of not being enough. The queer kid from a conservative suburb who found home in Elena's arms. Love's not a fairy tale, Jax said, sketching her profile on a napkin. It's trench warfare. But worth the scars. His words stuck. A bomb. Meanwhile, Elena dove into work. Her gallery buzzing with a new exhibit. Resurrections. Pieces exploring loss and return. Briar's portrait anchored it, eyes alive with unspoken pleas. The opening night loomed, a high-wire act. Invitations went out, including one to Victoria, defiance in vellum. As the date neared, the anonymous texts escalated. She's using you. Run while you can. Briar traced the number to a burner, but paranoia seeded doubt. Was it Victoria, her father's old cronies, or something closer? A fracture in Elena's rebuilt world? One evening, finding Elena on the phone. Voice hushed. Yes. I know the risks. But she's back. Briar's heart stuttered. Eavesdropping felt like betrayal. But she couldn't stop. Confrontation brewed that night. Words spilling in the kitchen's harsh light. Who were you talking to? Briar demanded, voice cracking. Elena's face paled. My therapist. Processing this. Us. Relief mixed with shame. And they collapsed into each other. Apologies murmured against skin. But the seed was planted. Trust's fragile bloom wilting. The exhibit opening arrived like a storm front. The gallery in Soma pulsing with bodies and bass. Elena shone. Her emerald dress a nod to their gala reunion. But Briar's black jeans and blouse felt underdressed amid the glitterati. Victoria arrived fashionably late. Her entourage a shield. But her eyes locked on the portrait. Striking, she conceded. sipping Prosecco. Though flattery won't erase debts, the barb landed, but Elena countered with grace. Art erases nothing. It reveals. Whispers circled. Society pages reporters sniffing for scandal, but Jax, manning the bar, shot Briar a wink, his presence a quiet anchor. As the night peaked, Elena pulled Briar to the back room, amid crates of unsold canvases. "This is us," she said, pressing Briar against the wall. "Kiss fierce. No ghosts." Just now, but as they emerged, a figure slipped from the shadows, a woman with sharp features and Elena's auburn hair. A sister? No. A ghost from Elena's past. Lila. The ex who had lingered in rumors. Her hand brushing Elena's arm too familiarly. Jealousy flared. Irrational but real. And Briar excused herself, stepping into the alley for air. There, under sodium lights, the anonymous texter waited, a silhouette with Victoria's poise. "You don't belong," the voice hissed. Feminine. Accented faintly southern. Before Briar could react, a flash, another photo, and the figure vanished into the night. Rushing back, Briar found Elena laughing with Lila, the scene twisting the knife. "Who was that?" she asked later. Voice tight. Elena sighed. "Old friend." Nothing more, but the lie hung, unspoken. Trust, that atrophied muscle, cramped again. The alley encounter replayed in Briar's dreams. The figure's voice a southern drawl that evoked magnolia-scented betrayals from Elena's Baton Rouge youth. She woke sweating. Elena's arm draped over her like an anchor. But the peace was illusory. Over breakfast, avocado toast and black coffee, Briar broached it. "Last night. Outside. Someone warned me off. Sounded like they knew you." Elena's fork clattered. Eyes widening. "What? Show me the photo." Briar pulled up the blurry image on her phone, the woman in profile, hat shadowing her face. But the pearl earring glinted familiar, Victoria's signature. Elena's face drained of color. "Mother's playing spy now? This ends tonight." She stormed out for a confrontation, leaving Briar to pace the apartment, the ring twisting on her finger like a noose. Hours later, Elena returned, triumphant but weary. "She denies it. Of course. But I saw the guilt." She's scared. Briar, scared of losing control. They hug, bodies aligning. But the embrace felt like a truce, not victory. To reclaim normalcy, they escaped to Point Reyes, a weekend drive up the coast where eucalyptus groves whispered and the ocean roared indifference. The cabin rental was rustic, wood beams, a stone fireplace, waves crashing visible from the porch. Briar packed books and Elena's sketchpad, hoping the salt air would erode the city's grit. On the first evening, as seals barked from the rocks below, they walked the beach, barefoot in the surf, jeans rolled to knees. "Remember Mendocino?" Briar asked, lacing fingers. Elena smiled, wind tousling her chignon. "Our honeymoon. You proposed with a ring from a pawn shop. Said it was cursed with luck." Laughter bubbled. Genuine. And they built a fire on the sand, roasting marshmallows until they charred black. Stories flowed. Elena's gallery dreams deferred by grief. Briar's forest epiphanies where she journaled manifestos of queer survival. "I found myself there," Briar said, staring into flames. "But I lost us." Elena leaned in. lips brushing her temple. We're finding again. That night, under quilts scented with pine, they made love with the window open to the tide's rhythm, bodies a dialogue of forgiveness. Sunday brought hiking trails through wildflower meadows to Abbott's Lagoon, where birds wheeled overhead. Briar spotted a heron, solitary and graceful, and thought of Elena, poised yet yearning. At the lagoon's edge, Elena sketched the scene, Briar as muse reclining on driftwood. "You're my constant," Elena murmured, charcoal-dusted fingers tracing Briar's arm. "Even when you were gone," the words healed a fracture. And Briar pulled her down, kisses tasting of earth and promise. But the idol cracked on the drive home. Elena's phone rang. "Riley?" "The lawyer." "Good news. We've got a prelim injunction against any asset grabs." "But bad. Your father's old associate, Harlan Crow, is sniffing around. Claims you owe him for facilitating the death hoax." Briar's grip tightened on the wheel. Harlan, her father's right hand, a lobbyist with a smile like a shark. "He helped me vanish. For a price I couldn't pay then." Elena's hand on her knee steadied her. "We pay now. Together." Back in the city, reality assaulted. The gallery hummed with post-opening buzz, but Lila's presence lingered like a bad aftertaste. She dropped by unannounced, bearing wine and congratulations, her hugs lingering too long. Briar watched from the doorway. A knot forming, Lila's eyes held Elena's with a history Briar couldn't touch. That night, over pad thai from the corner spot, jealousy spilled. "She's more than an old friend, isn't she?" Briar accused. Chopsticks abandoned. Elena's sigh was exasperated. "We dated in college. Briefly. She was there after you left. Support? Nothing physical. The admission stung. A betrayal born of absence." "You needed someone," Briar conceded. But the words tasted bitter. "Just tell me everything from now on." The pact sealed with a kiss, but fractures spiderwebbed. Work pulled them apart. Briar interviewing at a queer-lit nonprofit in the Castro, Elena curating a panel on women in art. Evenings were sanctuaries, cooking together Elena's gumbo, spicy with andouille, Briar's attempt at vegan biscuits flaking apart. Laughter bridged gaps, but the texts persisted. Now with photos, them at the beach, time-stamped. "Someone's watching," Briar whispered one night. Curtains drawn. Elena nodded, fear-etching lines. "We go to the cops." Detective Sofia Reyes met them at a Bernal Heights cafe, her Latina warmth belying sharp eyes. "Stalking in queer circles? Common as fog here. We'll trace the number. But burners are tricky." She took statements, her notebook filling with details. Victoria's denial. Harlan's shadow. "Stay vigilant. Change routines." As they left, Sophia's card burned in Briar's pocket, a lifeline. Vigilance bred paranoia. Briar jumped at shadows, second-guessing Elena's late nights. One such evening, Elena returned disheveled, lipstick smudged, not hers. "Lila," she explained, got emotional at the panel. "Hugged me goodbye." Briar nodded, but doubt festered. Alone, she scrolled old emails on a forgotten laptop. Elena's password unchanged. Messages from Lila. "Miss you." Drinks. Responses polite. But one lingered. "Can't." Still healing. Relief washed, but invasion soured it. Trust? That damn muscle. Seized. Climax brewed at a fundraiser for the nonprofit Briar's first big event. Black tie and a Haight-Ashbury loft. She wore the emerald dress Elena had lent. Ring polished bright. The crowd was eclectic. Activists in leather. Donors in pearls. Jax DJing soul tracks. Elena arrived late. Radiant. But Lila trailed her. Arm-linked. Briar's smile strained as introductions circled. Briar Voss resurrected. Lila purred. Handshake lingering. Elena's told me stories. The barb landed amid toasts. And Briar excused herself to the balcony. City sprawl glittering below. Elena followed. Concern etching her brow. What's wrong? Briar whirled. Her. Always her. Am I fighting ghosts or rivals? Elena's eyes flashed. Jealousy doesn't suit you. Lila's harmless. A crutch when you left me broken. The words ignited. Broken? I left to protect you. And you leaned on her. Voices rose. Drawing stares. Until Jax intervened. His hand gentle on Briar's shoulder. Breathe. Sister. Elena stormed off. Lila in tow for support. Briar stayed. Nursing a gin. Jax's poetry easing the ache. Love's a mirror, he said. Shows your cracks. Midnight brought Elena back. Alone. Eyes red. I sent her away. For good. They drove home in silence. The rift a chasm. In bed. Backs turned. Briar whispered. I can't lose you again. Elena's response was a hand reaching back. Then stop pushing. Morning brought olive branches, pancakes. Elena's specialty. Drowned in syrup. Therapy, she proposed. Joint sessions. We unpack this shit. Briar agreed. Hope flickering. Their first with Riley's referral. A soft-spoken dyke named Marisol. Peeled layers. Briar's abandonment wounds from childhood. Elena's fear of engulfment. You're both survivors, Marisol said. Build from there. Progress stuttered when Harlan surfaced. A lunch invite at Original Joe's. Red sauce and red flags. He was silver foxed. Charm oily. Briar. Darling. That favor I did. Time to settle. The price, silence on family matters, plus a cut of Elena's gallery profits. Briar recorded it discreetly. Voice steady. Blackmail's a felony. Harlan. He laughed. In Sacramento circles? It's Tuesday. The tape went to Sophia. Who pounced? Got him. But Victoria countered. A society brunch where Elena was cornered. Choose. Darling. Family or this? Phase. Elena's response was fire. Briar's my family. You're optional. The matriarch's disownment came swift. A frozen account. Invitations revoked. Elena crumbled that night. Sobbing in Briar's arms. I lost everything for you. Briar held her. Whispering. You gained me. That's enough. Was it? As autumn leaves turned the Presidio gold. Briar questioned. The stalker quieted. Harlan backed off under pressure. But internal storms raged. One fight escalated, Briar accusing Elena of emotional infidelity with Lila's memory. You're projecting your guilt, Elena shot back. Doors slammed. Briar fleeing to Jax's. Crashing on his couch amid poetry slams. Space is oxygen, he advised. Days blurred, Briar diving into work. Elena into art. A canvas emerged, two figures entwined yet pulling apart. Titled Tether. Reconciliation came unexpected. A rain-soaked night. Elena at the door with the painting. Eyes pleading. I miss us. Briar pulled her in. Rain mingling with tears. Me too. They talked till dawn. Vulnerabilities bared. Briar's fear of unworthiness. Elena's terror of abandonment. We're messy, Elena said. But real. Healing deepened in small acts, weekly hikes in Marin. Hands held. Date nights at dive bars with queer open mics. Briar's nonprofit gig solidified. Curating readings on resilience. Elena's exhibit toured. Resurrections touching hearts. But a letter arrived. Victoria's olive branch? No. Harlan's last gasp. Evidence of Briar's fraud, twisted to implicate Elena. Court loomed. A climax of legal wars. In prep. They fortified. Riley's strategy airtight. Sophia's badge a shield. Testimony day. The courtroom in Civic Center sterile as judgment. Victoria testified. Voice quavering. I only wanted to protect her. But Briar's cross burned. Protection or possession? The judge ruled in their favor. Assets restored. Harlan fined. Victory tasted sweet. But hollow. Elena's mother slipped away. A ghost truly gone. Post-trial. They honeymooned in Big Sur. Clifftop cabin. Waves crashing below. Nights of starlit sex. Days of titapooling. Collecting sea glass like mended hearts. We're unbreakable now, Briar murmured. Ring cool against Elena's skin. But whispers of doubt lingered. Had the fire forged them stronger? Or just scarred? Big Sur's cliffs cradled their renewal. The Pacific a vast canvas of blues and grays mirroring the swirl in Briar's soul. Mornings began with coffee on the deck. Elena's head on her shoulder. The scent of wild sage mingling with sea salt. They hiked the Pfeiffer Falls Trail. Mist from the cascade kissing their faces like blessings. This is what I dreamed of in the woods, Briar confessed. Water roaring beside them. Elena squeezed her hand. Dreams deferred aren't denied. Their laughter echoed. Free. But as they descended, call shattered it, Jack's voice urgent. Galleries vandalized. Elena's portrait trashed. The drive back was tense. Highway 1's curves mocking their fragility. Soma streets buzzed with sirens when they arrived. Yellow tape fluttering like warnings. The damage was surgical. Briar's face slashed. Canvas shredded. Red paint scrawled. Dead women tell no lies. Elena gasped. Hand to mouth. While Briar knelt. Tracing the gashes. Rage coiling. This is personal, she said. Voice steel. Sophia arrived swiftly. Gloved hands bagging shards. Prints. Maybe CCTV. But this screams insider. Insider. The word festered as they cleaned up. Volunteers from the queer community pitching in, Jack's hauling trash. A barista from the cafe next door brewing tea. Elena's eyes, red-rimmed, met Briar's over brooms. They want to scare us silent. Briar pulled her close. Amid the debris. Then we scream louder. That night, they slept in the gallery's back office. Cots makeshift. Bodies entwined for warmth. Whispers in dark. Elena's fear of fragility. Briar's guilt for dragging her into chaos. We're warriors, Briar murmured. Lesbian armor. Investigation dragged. Days bleeding into weeks. Sophia's updates were sparse. Partial print matching no one. CCTV grainy. Briar threw herself into work, organizing a reading series on survival stories, voices like hers filling the nonprofit's sunlit space. Elena channeled fury into creation. A new series, Wounds, Abstracts of Crimson and Void. Lila reached out, texts of support, flowers, but Elena forwarded them to Briar. Transparency, a new vow. No secrets, she said. Yet secrets bubbled. One evening, rifling for takeout menus, Briar found a hidden drawer in Elena's desk. Letters. Yellowed. From her father. Choose wisely, or lose it all. Postmarked after Briar's death. Elena walked in. Freezing. I kept them as reminders of what we overcame. Briar nodded. But the find unearthed old graves. Had Elena wavered? Considered his ultimatum? Did you ever think of leaving me? She asked. Voice small. Elena's tears fell. Every day. But love won. The honesty bonded. But scars itched. Community rallied. A vigil at the vandalized wall. Candles flickering as poets recited odes to resilience. Briar spoke. Voice carrying. They slash canvases because they fear our story. But we repaint. Cheers erupted. Elena's pride shining. Jax cornered her later. You're glowing. Fuss. Love looks good. His grin eased the knot in her chest. Clues emerged unexpectedly. A tip from an anonymous gallery assistant. Lila's late-night visit. Borrowing keys. Confrontation at a Castro coffee shop. Rain pattering windows. Lila's denial was swift. Me? I loved Elena. Sure. But sabotage? That's not my shade. Her eyes darted. Guilt? Sophia hauled her in. But alibi held dinner with friends. Dead end. Stress manifested physically. Briar's migraines returning. Ghosts from cabin isolation. Elena nursed her with cool cloths. Herbal tea. Readings from Audre Lorde. Your body's talking, she said softly. Briar admitted. It's screaming worthy? Elena's response was a manifesto of touches. Mapping every curve. You are. Always. Harlan lurked in periphery. A deposition where he smirked. Art's subjective. Like truth. Riley shredded him. But his parting shot. Your father's ghost approves. Briar vomited after. The weight crushing. Therapy with Marisol delved deeper. Briar's internalized homophobia. Elena's codependency roots in Southern repression. Heal the child, Marisol urged. To free the woman. A breakthrough came in session. Briar voicing the unvoiceable. Fear that her return was selfish. Elena's life derailed. I stole your morning. Elena countered. Fierce. You gave me depth. Grief carved me into this. Tears merged. A catharsis. Publicly. They pushed forward. Elena's Wounds exhibit sold out. Critics praising raw queer fury. Briar emceed a non-profit gala. Her speech on visibility drawing standing ovations. Victoria sent a card, congratulations. Terse but no reply. Forgiveness? Later. Perhaps. The stalker struck again. A package at the apartment. Dead lilies and a photo, Briar sleeping. Taken through the window. Panic surged, they installed cameras. Alarms. But sleep fractured. One night. Elena bolted awake screaming. Nightmare of Briar's casket. Comfort turned intimate. Body seeking solace. But climax eluded. Frustration mounting. We're broken, Elena whispered. Briar held her. Or bending. Sophia's break. CCTV enhancement revealed the figure, not Lila, but Harlan's assistant, a mousy woman with southern lilt. Arrest followed. Swift. He paid her, Sophia reported. To rattle you. Harlan confessed under pressure. Plea deal for time served. Justice. Partial. But the air lightened. With threats neutralized, they reclaimed space. A weekend in Napa. Vineyards rolling gold. Wine tastings. Laughter bubbling like Cabernet. A hot air balloon ride at dawn. World shrinking to them. Marry me again, Elena said. On one knee in the gondola. Ring duplicate glinting. Breyer laughed through tears. Yes. Eternally. Ceremony planning infused joy small, queer-centric. At a Sonoma vineyard. Vows exchanged under oaks. Breyer's I choose you. In life and resurrection, Elena's in shadows and light. Jack's officiated. Poetry weaving. Honeymoon echoes in Big Sur revisited. But now with rings renewed. Yet, post-vows. A quiet confession. Elena's therapy revelation. Brief affair post-disappearance. Guilt's shadow. One night. Wine-fueled. Regret immediate. Breyer's heart fractured. But she breathed. Pain's part of love. Forgiveness workshopped in Marisol's office. Emerging stronger. Months turn. Seasons cycling. Breyer's book club thrived. Elena's gallery expanded. Victoria's thaw, a tentative lunch. Apologies veiled. I was wrong, she admitted. Fear's a poor master. Reconciliation tentative. But roots. One evening. Balcony stargazing. Breyer traced constellations. We made it. Elena nestled closer. And beyond. But in quiet. Breyer pondered. Was peace the end? Or interlude? The ring warmed her finger. A reminder love. Eternal. Demanded vigilance. The vineyard wedding's afterglow lingered like fine Pinot, infusing their days with the buoyancy Breyer hadn't known since youth. San Francisco welcomed autumn with crisp edges. Leaves in Golden Gate Park crunching underfoot as they strolled. Hands clasped. Rings catching sun. Elena's gallery hosted a retrospective. Echoes of return. Breyer's life woven into Elena's strokes. Cabin solitude in muted greens. Resurrection in bold golds. Opening night. Crowd thick with allies, Jack's toasting to undead love. Riley clinking glasses. Victoria attended. Peripheral. Her nod to Breyer a fragile bridge. But euphoria masked undercurrents. Breyer's nonprofit expanded. A youth program for queer runaways. Her passion igniting. Late nights grading essays. She felt purpose. But Elena's glances held unspoken pleas. You're drifting, she said one evening. Over stir-fry in the kitchen. Steam rising like sighs. Breyer paused. Chopsticks hovering. Into meaning. Isn't that us? Elena's smile was wistful. Us was balance. Now it's orbits. The drift widened. Elena dove into a collaboration with a New York collective. Travel beckoning, weeks in Brooklyn. Video calls crackling with static and longing. Miss your curls on the pillow, Breyer texted. Responses delayed by time zones. Alone. Breyer hosted potlucks for program kids. Teens with stories echoing her own. Disowned. Adrift. 1. A trans girl named Sage with blue-dyed hair and defiant poetry. Mirrored Breyer's ghosts. Mentoring her felt redemptive. But exhaustion crept. migraines flaring. Elena's return brought reunion heat, airport kiss devouring, bodies colliding in the loft like storms. Brought you this, she unpacked. A Brooklyn bagel. Cream cheese smeared. Laughter. Then lovemaking on the rug. Fierce and reclaiming. But post-bliss, Elena unpacked more. The city's electric. Thinking expansion, satellite gallery there. Briar's stomach nodded. And us. Elena's hand stilled. Portable. Like always. Portable. The word chafed, evoking her flight years ago. Doubts fermented. Was Elena chasing escape? Their roots too tangled? Therapy with Marisol probed. Changed tests foundations. Briar journaled furiously. Pages filling with fears. Abandonment's echo. Unworthiness's whisper. External pressures mounted. Harlan's plea deal surfaced in tabloids. Senator's daughter in fraud scandal. Reporters hounding the nonprofit door. Briar fielded calls. Voice steady. Past his prologue. But Sage confided her own crisis. Family threats mirroring Briar's youth. Run? The girl asked. Eyes wide. Briar hugged her. No. Fight smart. The advice anchored her. But exhaustion peaked. A panic attack mid-session. Chest tight. World tunneling. Elena found her curled in the office. Rocking. Talk, she urged. Water bottle pressed to Briar's lips. Words tumbled. The drift. The fears. The weight of resurrection. Elena listened. Tears tracing. I'm scared too. Success feels like leaving you behind. Vulnerability bridged. They recommitted. Date nights enforced. No phones dinners. Jax's birthday bash at a Valencia speakeasy tested it. Queer crowd pulsing to house beats. Bodies sweat slick. Lila appeared. Uninvited. Her presence a spark. Congrats on the nuptials, she toasted. Eyes on Elena. Briar tensed. But Elena's arm around her waist declared territory. Later. On the dance floor. Hip swing. Elena whispered. Only you. The rhythm healed. But Lila's shadow lingered in dreams. Winter blanketed the city in rare snow. Transforming parks to wonderlands. They built a snow dike in the Presidio, curves exaggerated. Carrot nose a phallus joke, laughter echoing. But cozied indoors. Elena's laptop glowed with NYC emails. Offers. Scouts. Visit, she suggested. Briar agreed. Heart-pounding test of portability. New York assaulted with energy. Subways rumbling. Skyline stabbing clouds. Elena's temporary studio in Bushwick buzzed. Graffiti walls. Artists clinking beers. Briar wandered Chelsea galleries. Queer exhibits stirring. Out of the closet. Into the fire. One piece, a split canvas. One side void. Other vibrant, mirrored them. Like us, she texted Elena. Who replied, exactly. Come home. But home blurred. Jet lag amplified insecurities. Briar imagined Elena's life here. Untethered. A solo night. She bar-hopped Greenwich Village, landmark of Stonewall ghosts, nursing Manhattans. Chatting with a poet named Theo. Non-binary and sharp. Love's migration, they said. Some birds return. Wisdom stuck. But guilt gnawed, flirting with strangers in mind? Return flight brought clarity. SFO. Elena waited. Sign scrawled, my orbit. Embrace tight. They drove home through fog. Debriefing. NYC's thrill. Elena admitted. But your gravity, Briar exhaled. And your stars. Spring bloomed conflict anew. Victoria's health scare. A fall in her Pacific Heights manse. Elena's call came frantic. Hospital. Now. Briar drove. White-knuckled. The woman who once plotted her demise now frail in a gown. Elena, Victoria rasped. Spotting Briar. You brought her. Elena nodded. Tears. Family. Briar stood sentinel. Fetching water. Enduring glares from ants. In quiet. Victoria whispered. Forgive an old fool? Briar hesitated. Then, healing's mutual. Discharge brought truces. Sunday brunches at Victoria's. Crystal clinking over quiches. Stories emerged. Victoria's own hidden youth. A college love lost to convention. I projected fears, she confessed. Bonds formed. Tentative. But real. Victoria donating to the nonprofit. Her check a peace offering. Yet internal tempests raged. Briar's program hit snag funding cut. Board politics. Queer initiatives last, a suit sneered. Rage boiled. She rallied donors. Elena's art auction raising thousands. Victory party at the loft. Toast to tenacity. But in crowd's roar, Briar spotted Elena deep in talk with a curator. Hands animated. Laughter bright. Jealousy flickered. Was this the drift? Confrontation brewed post-party. Wine loosened tongues. You're pulling away, Briar accused. Pacing. Elena's brow furrowed. Investing. In us? In dreams. Miscommunication snowballed. Briar's selfish. Elena's stifled. Doors slammed. Briar to Jax's again. Couch familiar. Patterns, he noted. Break em. Space clarified. Elena's note arrived. Driftwood washes back. Love. E. Briar returned. Arms open. Marisol mediated. Growth isn't divergence. Exercises followed. Daily gratitudes. Shared journals. Summer solstice brought ritual. A full moon hike in Marin. Blanket spread for stargazing. Naked under cosmos. They vowed anew. Evolved together. Passion reignited. Bodies mapping new territories. Elena's fingers exploring scars. Briar's lips tracing tattoos. But climax loomed subtle. A pregnancy scare. Elena's missed cycle from stress. Tests negative. Relief mixed grief. Kids. Briar ventured. Elena's eyes dreamed. Someday. Surrogacy. Adoption. Our family. Vision solidified. But fears whispered. Could they parent without passing wounds? Program stabilized. Briar's promotion to director. Speeches. Spotlights. Elena's NYC gallery opened remotely. Success shared. Victoria's integration deepened. Thanksgiving at her table. Toasts inclusive. One night. Balcony thunder. Briar voiced depths. I fear happiness's fragility. Elena's hand in hers. Then we armor it with truth. Rings intertwine. Promise etched. Yet. A letter from Oregon. Cabin owner selling. Mementos returned. Burned letter fragments. Briar's old sketch of Elena. Reading remnants. Love. Eternal. Tears fell. Closure, Briar said. Elena burned them together. Ashes to wind. New chapters. As leaves turned again. They stood stronger. But Briar pondered, was this plateau? Or peak before fall? Love's arc. Unpredictable. Beckoned. Autumn's palette deep in San Francisco's hues. Dolores Park alive with picnickers as Briar and Elena navigated the nonprofit's annual fundraiser, a garden party in the Haight. Fairy lights strung like wishes. Briar emceed. Voice carrying over jazz quartet. From shadows to spotlights. Our stories endure. Elena's donation piece. A sculpture of intertwined roots, drew bids soaring. Victoria bid highest. Her presence a quiet evolution. Post-event. Champagne fizzing. Jax pulled Briar aside. You're luminous. But watch the burn director's fire consumes. The warning echoed weeks later. Burnout creeping like ivy. Briar's days stretched. Youth sessions till dusk. Grant proposals bleeding into nights. Elena's gallery thrived. But her sketches piled. Inspiration stalled. We're ships passing, she noted over takeout burritos. Wrappers crinkling. Briar nodded. Exhaustion dulling edges. Docking soon. Docking faltered. A program crisis erupted. Sage's runaway episode. Family hunt turning violent. Briar mediated. Cops involved. Her testimony raw in station fluorescence. She's safe, Sophia assured. But Briar's sleep shattered. Nightmares of her own flight replaying. Elena held her through tremors. You're her hero. But hero's cape chafed. Elena's block deepened. A commission deadline loomed. Canvas blank. It's you, she confessed in Marisol's office. Our intensity, it's muse and monster. Briar squeezed her knee. Then let's tame it. Homework. Art dates. No pressure, Briar modeling nude in the studio. Light playing over olive skin. Elena's pencil danced. Lines tender. Breakthrough birthing entwined. Bodies as vines. Resilient. External harmony frayed with Victoria's meddling. A suggestion for the program. More mainstream appeal. Briar bristled at brunch. Mimosas untouched. Our appeal is authenticity. Victoria backpedaled. But seed of control sown. Elena defended. Briar knows her world. Tension simmered. Family dinners strained. Winter holidays approached. A test. They hosted Jax. Riley. Sage emancipated now. Crashing gratefully. Turkey veganized. Stories swapped. Jax's chapbook launch. Sage's first poem published. Victoria arrived last. Gift in hand. A locket mirroring Briar's. Photo inside 3 women. United. Toast. To chosen blood. Warmth spread. But Briar's migraine pulsed. Overfull. New Year's Eve. They escaped to Tahoe, cabin snowbound. Fire crackling. Resolution scrawled on paper. Burned. Briar's presence over perfection. Elena's vulnerability daily. Midnight kiss under Aurora hints. Bodies warming sheets. This year. Deeper, Elena murmured. Briar agreed. But dawn brought call. Nonprofit emergency. Funder pullout. Board revolt. Crisis mode engulfed. Briar rallied. Pitches polished. But Elena's support felt distant. Immersed in a solo show prep. Help, Briar asked. Voice cracking. Elena paused. Charcoal hand smudging. I'm drowning too. Misstep widened chasm. Briar snapped. Priorities. Elena retreated. Hurt. Jax mediated over beers at his taqueria perch. Communications the glue. Briar apologized via sketch. Crude hearts on napkin. Delivered to studio. Elena's response. A canvas patch. Mending the rift visually. Laughter returned. Tentative. Spring thought personal freezes. Sage's graduation, high school triumph. Briar and Elena in front row. Tears proud. Post-ceremony. Sage hugged. You saved me. Briar's heart swelled. Purpose reaffirmed. Elena captured it in photo, later painting lineage. But Elena's show loomed vines and voids. Intimate. Exposing. Opening night. Crowd intimate. Victoria beaming. Lila absent blocked. Finally. Critics raved emotional cartography. Sales poured. Briar toasted private. Your voids birthed beauty. Elena's eyes shone. Our voids. Travel beckoned. Elena's NYC follow-up. Briar tagging for balance. Loft in Williamsburg. Skyline views, days gallery hopping. Nights rooftop picnics. But Briar chafed at pace. Elena's meetings endless. Her own emails piling. Vacation, she pleaded. Elena relented. Day trip to Fire Island. Ferry slicing waves. Beaches queer haven. Dunes whispering secrets. They walked nude stretches. Salt drying skin. Free, Briar breathed. Elena drew her into surf. Waves crashing. Unchained. Love-making on blanket. Sun-warmed. Uninhibited. Return fortified. But jet lag amplified distance. Briar's promo dreams clashing Elena's expansion. Conflict crested midsummer. Board meeting ultimatum. Scale or sink. Briar proposed youth house. Ambitious. Elena's reaction. Over wine. Risky. We're stable now. Briar flared. Stability's stagnation. Words escalated. Selfish ambition. Clinging fear. Culminating in separate beds. Silence heavy. Briar fled to Oregon cabin. Final visit before sale. Pines familiar. Solitude healed. Hikes journaling. Bonfire burning old doubts. Elena's call. Voice small. Come back. Fight here. Return train ride. Resolve stealing. Reunion raw Marisol's couch. Truths bared. Briar's overcommit as armor. Elena's caution as loss aversion. Interdependence, therapist named it. Plan. Shared calendar. Weekly check-ins. Harvest moon brought ritual, vineyard revisit. Wedding site. Grapes ripe. They picked. Juice staining fingers. Picnic under stars. Vows refreshed. Grow without uprooting. Intimacy rekindled. Slow. Sacred. Program launched. Youth House in Excelsior. Walls painted murals by Elena's collective. Opening ribbon cut. Sage keyholder. Victoria donated fixtures. Full circle. Fall deepened bonds. Couples retreat in Mendocino. Ocean therapy. Waves pounded as they unpacked. Briar's father phantom. Elena's southern shame. Released, they chorused. Stones cast to sea. Yet, subtle shifts. Briar's gray strands. Elena's laugh lines. Aging's whisper. Evolve or erode? One night. Post-dinner. Briar voiced. Kids now. Elena's paws stretched. Then yes. Let's build. Consultations began fertility clinic. Options swirling. IOI. IVF. Hopes bloomed. But tests dashed Briar's low count. Elena's history. Grief shared. Surrogacy explored. Friend offered, Jax's sister. Warm-hearted. Family tree branches, she said. Winter-wrapped preparations legal. Emotional. Victoria's gift. Trust fund for grandchild. Healing complete. New Year's again. Fireworks bursting. Resolutions burned. Legacy. The snow dusted. Briar held Elena. Our story. Unending. But in quiet. Wonder would branches bear fruit. Or barren beauty. The surrogacy journey unfolded like a slow-blooming rose. Thorns and petals intertwined. Clinic visits became ritual. Ultrasounds cold-gelled. Hopes pinned on pixels. Jax's sister, Mira, embraced the role. Her easy laugh lightning weights. Auntie Jax will spoil rotten, he joked at check-ins. Tacos in hand. Elena's sketches captured it. Abstract wombs. Lines curving protective. Briar journaled for the child. Letters of lineage. Queer and unapologetic. Spring's promise quickened positive test. Heartbeat flickering. Joy erupted. Champagne toasts. Mock for Mira. Nursery planning in the loft spare room. Walls seafoam. Murals of forests and cities. Briar's Oregon wilds meeting Elena's urban pulse. Victoria knitted booties. Her needles clicking like metronomes of acceptance. A Langford vase, she mused. Ice soft. Community showered, baby shower at the gallery. Rainbow piñata bursting confetti. But thorns pricked. Briar's work intensified. Youth house thriving but demands relentless. Sage. Now mentor. Confided burnout, Briar mirrored. Guilt gnawing. Model resilience, she coached. But nights blurred into worry weighing risks. Child's future in unsteady world. Elena noticed. You're carrying oceans. Therapy adjusted, mindfulness for Briar. Boundary setting. Elena's show toured LA. Chicago, absences stretching. Video call showed Myra's bump growing. But static couldn't convey touch. One night, post-flight, Elena arrived exhausted, craving closeness. Briar pulled away. Migraine-veiled excuse. Not now, she muttered. Elena's hurt flashed. Always not now. Quiet war simmered, Briar's overwhelmed. Elena's distant. Jax hosted intervention. Poetry night at his. Verses on vulnerability. Briar read. Roots tangle. But bloom demands light. Elena followed. Petals bruise. Yet unfurl. Claws bridged. Walk home hand in hand. Parenting preview, Elena said. Messy. Necessary. Summer swelled Myra's belly. Kicks palpable at gatherings. Briar felt first. A flutter like butterfly rebellion, tears instant. Ours, Elena whispered. But ultrasounds revealed twin girls. Joy doubling with terror. 2. Briar laughed. Panicked. Prep accelerated, classes on diapering. Doula hires. Victoria's stories of motherhood surfaced. Vulnerabilities shared. I failed Elena's dad. But not her. Crisis hit late bloom board audit. Discrepancies from old funding wars. Accusations flew. Mismanagement. Briar defended. Documents stacked. But stress spiked blood pressure. Elena urged leave. For them. Reluctance yielded. Sabbatical granted. Time for nesting. Days slowed, Briar reading to bump. Elena singing lullabies in Spanish learned from Mira. Yet, relational weeds grew. Elena's tour extended. Vancouver add-on. Career pivot. Briar bristled. Now, argument ignited. Selfless or selfish? Culminating in Elena's slammed door. Hotel night. Briar's call next dawn. Sorry. Scared. Elena's flight home immediate. Airport reunion tear-streaked. Marisol unpacked. Pregnancy amplifies shadows. Vows renewed. Team. Always. Fall harvested maturity. Myra's showers of wisdom yoga. Nutrition grounded. Briar volunteered at youth house part-time. Modeling balance. Sage's poem collection launched. Dedication. To Briar. Who taught return. Harvest festival at the vineyard. Wedding echo brought full circle. Mira. Radiant. Danced slow with Elena. Briar with Victoria. Steps awkward then fluid. Proud, the elder murmured. Whispers of names. Willow for wild. Sage for wisdom not to mentee. Winter's grip tightened labor. Contractions false. Then fierce. Hospital dash. Snow flurring. Hours blurred. Elena's hand crush. Briar's coaching. Myra's pushes primal. Twins arrived midnight, Willow first. Cry piercing, Sage second. Fierce grip. Tears. Touches. Triumph. Perfect, Briar breathed. Holding tiny forms. Homecoming chaos feeds round clock. Sleep fragmented. Briar rocked Willow. Elena Sage. Tags swapped in delirium. Victoria visited. Cooing. Jack's Uncle with rhymes. Community meals rotated. Lasagna from Riley. Empanadas from Sophia. But postpartum tides crashed. Briar's blues deepened. Hormones. Identity shift from director to diaper changer. Who am I? She journaled. Fog thick. Elena fared better. Maternal glow. But resentment brewed. You're withdrawing. Fights whispered. Briar's lost. Elena's ungrateful. Marisol postpartum specialized. New mothers rebuild. Support netted. Myra's check-ins. Sage babysitting for dates. One night out, Italian in North Beach, rekindled. Remember us? Elena asked. Candlelit. Briar nodded. Foundation. Spring coaxed routines, park strolls. Twins in tandem carriers. Youth house thrived under interim. Briar easing back. Elena's studio adapted. Cribs amid easels. Muses mewling. Bigger shadows loomed. Harlan's appeal. Tabloid dredge. Reporters at door. Scandal mom. Briar shielded. Statement crisp. Past buried. Future blooms. Legal quash. But scars itched. Whispers at playgroup. Judgmental stares. Climax personal. Briar's breakdown. Rocking Sage through colic. Sobs merging cries. Elena found her. Bundle in arms. Let go. Floodgates opened. Fears of inadequacy. Legacies wait. Elena held. Enough as is. Healing cascaded. Retreat for parents. Queer-focused. Affirmations. Yoga. You're whole, facilitator echoed. Return empowered. Briar pitching expansion. Family programs. Board approved. Circle widened. Summer solstice. 1 year mark. Beach picnic. Twins toddling sand. Namesakes converged. Sage teen visiting. Wisdom exchanged. Victoria grilled. Stories generational. The sun dipped. Briar traced Elena's ring. We endured. Elena's kiss. Evolved. Twins' laughter. Waves hush. Harmony hard won. Yet, in twilight, Briar pondered. Parenting's forge. Love refined. But embers glow ready for next blaze? The twins' second summer painted their world in relentless gold. Playgrounds in the mission echoing with Willow's giggles and Sage's determined babbles. Briar watched from a bench. Elena beside. Iced lattes sweating condensation. their fingers laced in quiet victory. The youth house had blossomed into a beacon, after-school arts for the littles, therapy circles for teens like a new sage, now college-bound with scholarship in hand. Briar directed with seasoned grace. Her book on queer resilience in press. Pages born of wilderness years. Elena's Galleries, San Francisco anchor. NYC satellite thrived. Her latest series Roots renewed a meditation on motherhood's tangle. Canvases alive with the chaos of love. Victoria had woven deeper into the fabric. Her Pacific Heights home a holiday hub. Silver hair softening with granddaughter's tugs. Nana's secret, she'd whisper. Slipping candies. Her once venomous tongue now lilting lullabies. Harlan's appeal crumbled in appeals court. His empire dust. Society pages noted it dryly. Briar's return a footnote faded to irrelevance. Sophia dropped by for playdates. Her detective's edge blunted by Sage's sticky hugs. Jack's published. His chapbook Ghosts in the Margins dedicated to the women who resurrected me. Life's rhythm steadied, but depth demanded tending. Briar's sabbatical echoes lingered. Therapy monthly. Marisol's couch a confessional for midlife murmurs. Am I enough? Elena countered in sketches. Briar's profile etched eternal. Dates evolved, twin-free escapes to Napa wineries. Sips slow. Talks delving dreams deferred. Travel to Iceland's geysers. A queer artist colony in Taos. Later, they'd chorus. Present anchoring. Conflict stirred subtle. A job offer for Elena. Paris curatorship. Year-long. Sabbatical, she framed. Eyes hopeful. Briar pause. Heart-twinging memory of absences past. Us. Elena's hand cupped her cheek. Expansion. Not escape. Deliberation stretched, pros cons listed over paella. Twins napping. Go, Briar decided. Voice steady. I'll hold fort. Video everything. Elena's relief kissed deep. But nights pre-departure. Bodies clung fierce. Farewells woven in sheets. Paris dispatches enchanted. Eiffel glows. Seine strolls. Elena's videos beaming with baguettes and berets. Briar managed solo youth house drills. Bedtime stories solo. Willow's fevers breaking under her palm. Strength surprise. But voids ached. Journals filled with Monsieur Chaos. Visits punctuated Briar flying over. Twins with Mira. City of lights blurring to lovers' lanes. Eiffel picnic. Champagne fizzing. Worth the wait. Elena's exhibit there, Exile and Embrace, drew acclaim. Queer expats toasting. Return heralded autumn. Elena bronzed and bursting anecdotes. Reintegration gentle playground tag. Kitchen dances to old Nina Simone. But shift registered. Elena's poise elevated. Whispers of permanent offers. Tempted. Briar probe. Neutral. Elena's honesty. Flattered. But homes pull stronger. Decision deferred. Harmony held. Winter's hush brought milestones. Twins' third birthday. Rainbow cake smudged faces. Party sprawled loft to gallery below. Community tapestry. Jack's reciting. Sage teen leading games. Victoria's cake pristine till chaos. Toasts to tiny revolutions. Nightcap. Twins abed. Briar and Elena on balcony. City hum below. Grateful, Elena murmured. Briar nodded. Fiercely. Spring unearthed buried thorn health scare. Briar's routine check flagging shadow on lung. Echo of cabin smokes long quit. Biopsy wait stretched eternal. Elena's hand vice in sterile halls. benign. Verdict relief crashing waves. Scares gift, Marisol noted. Briar emerged altered, quitting coffee. Dawn yoga. Cherishing breaths. Elena's portrait series followed. Breath lines. Lungs as landscapes. Vulnerability valorized. Summer solstice circled back. Fourth wedding anniversary. Vineyard vow renewal. Twins flower girls. Petals tossed wild. Jacks officiating anew. Poetry polished. Vows matured, briars through tempests. I choose you. Elena's in blooms and barren. My constant. Dance under stars. Victoria's waltz tentative. Then tender. Post vows. Clarity crystallized. Elena's Paris snow. Rooted expansion online collective. Global without goodbye. Briar pitched co-directorship at Youth House. Elena's art integrating programs. Synergy sparked. Futures fused. One evening. Twins Abed. They poured old photos, gala return. Big Sur cliffs. Newborn holds. Our epic, Elena said. Briar traced a faded print. Her ringed hand in Elena's. From death to this. Yet. Depths undercurrent pulled. Briar's book tour looming. East Coast swing. You're Paris, she teased. Elena's grin. Fair trade. Launch in NYC. Crowds queer and curious. Readings raw. Elena joined midway. Twins with Victoria. Family full. Book climbed lists. Message rippling. Resilience queer-coded. Return grounded them, house expansion plans. Room for growth. Sage's wedding invite arrived, college love. Ceremony in Berkeley Hills. Full circle, she said. Hugging Briar. Tears. Proud auntie. As leaves turned once more. Briar reflected. Journey's arc. From declared dead to vitally alive. Love's labor a tapestry of tears and triumphs. Betrayals mended. Secrets aired. Self-chiseled sharp. Elena. Sensing quiet. Curled close. Penny, Briar smiled. Just. Beautiful. Rings clinked. Promise perpetual. In twilight's embrace. With city lights winking below. They stood as testament. Love. Humanistic hearth. Forged in fire. Sustained in grace. Not flawless. But whole. Enduring. And in that. A lingering ache of what if softened to wonder. What horizons next?